Hey guys, welcome back to Get Ready with Me in Devotion. Let's get ready for the day and also talk about Jesus, of course. Today's verse that I want to focus on is Exodus 14:14. The Lord will fight for you and you shall hold your peace. This scripture has been such a strong reminder to me of God's sovereignty and how he covers us all the time. And I shared in Weekend Recap last week about how I just recently lost a friendship unexpectedly in a way that was very shocking. If you want to know context and details, go to Weekend Recap and watch the Sunday part of the vlog. But needless to say, I didn't see any of it coming. It was and is hard, but one thing it has shown me is how to be vigilant, because Satan is literally walking around as a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. I strive to be a good friend and build connections and relationships with the people that I love, that are close to me. And friendship is one of God's greatest gifts to me, and I always strive to keep myself in check when it comes to how I treat my people. When it comes down to how this friendship came tumbling and crumbling apart, the way it happened is complicated, and there was nothing I could do or say to fix it, and it began to make me question whether or not I was a good friend from the beginning, although I knew it wasn't my fault as to how I was and how I handled the situation. And there's so much more I could have said, but when you do life God's way, you just learn that everything in your head should not be said. When you learn what to say, how much to say, when to say it, you become wise in how you conduct yourself, because you're being held accountable to God for how you've handled somebody else, even when you're being mishandled, because God says vengeance is mine, period. I've literally seen how the moment God prepares me for somebody to leave my life, he makes sure that I know it's him. And he's got me standing back in a very far distance. And next thing you know, everything in the other person's life starts going downhill. And I'm just on the sideline watching. God will literally disconnect you from destruction and put you from his point of view to watch the people who thought they could destroy you get destroyed themselves. And it's not until that person's life goes in a different direction, or you start to experience life without them in a positive way, that makes you just appreciate God more, because you see how he was working and he did not let you get caught in that mess. A lot of times, too often, we try to apply human effort in a spiritual battle, and we exhaust ourselves putting energy into something that God is trying to tell us to back away from. And if we're not careful, we can overindulge and keep fighting for something that God knows isn't working for us, because everything that's good to us isn't always good for us. In this season of unexpected shifts, as God has been working in my heart from recovering from all of this, I also have to remind myself that I was faithful, loyal, and committed, and this is for my good. And God could be protecting me from something I don't even know is happening behind closed doors. Even in couch conversations, when we talked about gratitude, I told y'all that I want to be grateful enough to God to where if he takes somebody out of my life through whatever or whoever he uses to do it, that I'll think of it as a blessing and less of a burden. And I didn't think it'd be right before we're ending 2024, but at least I'm not walking into 2025 with a friendship frenzy on my mind. God truly knows what he's doing in all things, and sometimes it's hard to rest and find peace in that, because with human eyes, we'll focus so much on what we can't see, and we're always trying to focus on putting the pieces of the puzzle together in our own mind. Then we wonder why we're up late at night with anxiety and we can't sleep, and we're playing the mind games because it always has to make sense in our head. But when it comes to having faith in God, it's about believing in what we can't see with our own eyes. Everything isn't going to make sense all the time. But we do an injustice to ourselves and to God when we try to figure out his plan, because that's for him to do. Because if we had all the answers, the cures, the details to all of life's questions, problems, and issues, we wouldn't need God. When I say I have literally walked through Exodus 14:14 this week, it's been an unsettling place to be in, because no one likes to feel out of place, especially in a friendship or a bond with somebody, or in life, period. Letting God fight for you is an act of surrender that takes faith, patience, and prayer. It's not always easy, but it's definitely worth it, because we have such a natural human ability to want to react. At the end of the day, God is going to get the glory no matter what, and he's so strategic in the fact that he will literally even take things or people away from you that you thought you needed to show you that he has something better than what you had before, to take you to a new level and to still bring glory to himself at the same time. Doesn't mean that we're instantly okay with the reality of the outcome when God's plan is manifested, because we're only human. So it may take a few days, weeks, and months to wrap your mind around something, but what's good to know is that God always knows the end from the beginning, and his intentions towards us are always going to be pure and righteous. Be encouraged to let God fight for you, because he sees, he knows, he understands, and he cares. If you just have enough faith and surrender to God that which concerns you, he'll show you how to navigate through it all in a way that's godly and pleasing to him. I love you guys so much. Thanks for getting ready with me while doing devotion, and I'll see you guys later this week.